hello, and welcome to the show at Wrestling with Entertainment, the only audio experience on the web today, the trusted choice for interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday, and previewing and reviewing the latest shows from WWE, AEW, New Japan, and everything in between every Saturday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. I'm, of course, your host, James J., alongside Kaliko Yachts.
I mean, barely alive, but I can make it. I make it enough. As long as Stephanie Facour puts me in that knee hole thingy, I think I can make it.
Yeah, that we could agree on. It was a good week for Wrestling With, as we interviewed Patricia Lagaya on Tuesday and Super Beast on Wednesday. Two incredible interviews. Two very different individuals, to say the least. But definitely both are worth going into the archives and checking out if you haven't already done so. That brings us to this upcoming Tuesday. We have Big Shady Ty Williams from my neck of the woods, SoCal. He's a part of the Shady Boys. He used to be one dude chilling. We talk about that. Doing a famous show on a wrestler into gummy bears. What the content of those gummy bears may have been. His current tag team partner that there's no relation to. That there is no relation to the other tag team partner that he had prior to that this tag team partner. Becoming a father, Dragon Ball Z, and so much more. And then this upcoming Wednesday, we have Goblin, our first interview from Poland, of all places. We talk about hardcore wrestling, his rival Gustav, competing in Sweden, wrestling in Mexico, a ladder match for a bag of pot, and, and a hell of a lot more. Definitely a lot of great content. And if you don't know about the wrestling scene in Poland, if you're wondering, what is wrestling in Poland like? Well, Goblin dropped some knowledge about that as well. They're doing really well right now, so you definitely want to go and check that out. But don't take my word for it. Here's some clips now. You famous heard him on Gummy Bears once, no?
Yes, I did toss him. I did face plant him, give him the famouser into some gummy bears. Those were different times. In some cases, it feels like a fever dream. Maybe even you could say a high-ish fantasy that those things took place. I don't really accept them, nor do I, take that as truth or historical fact. But that is something that people do bring up to me from time to time.
Now, were they your normal average day gummy bears, or were they special gummy bears? Let's see.
People have always asked me that.
That being said, can you tell us about that time you shared an apartment with Gustav in Sweden?
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Just after our first fight at the Turbo OG, we were both booked at a show in Stockholm, Sweden for Freedom Pro Wrestling. And for some reason, Stanisław van der Broniak got us in the same apartment. And Gustav pretty much righted me when I was just taking a bath, chilling, reading some philosophy books. I mean, wrestling is wrestling, but we do respect the private stuff of the hotel, so we didn't get into it immediately. We even got to team up on the show later, but it didn't turn out good, and obviously we started fighting even though we were a team.
Right. And then on the 24th, which is a Monday, yes, we are almost at the end of the month again. We have Danny G on the 25th, DJ the Disaster on the 26th, Isaiah Valencia, and then April 1st, it's no joke, we have Isaiah. Right, I think we're done putting ourselves over, no, Kaliko?
Never done goodness.
Well, I could say this with 100 complete certainty. It was a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the news. And I think a big part of the news this week was that a one Stephanie Vacour won double NXT gold. Stephanie two straps. Looking good doing it as well. Had a great showing against Julia in Madison, the theater connected to Madison Square Garden. First woman to ever win the NXT Women's Championship and North American Championship. And I mean, the North American Championship hasn't been established for that long anyway. But yeah, literally strapping the rocket to Stephanie's ass.
Literally and figuratively.
Correct, sir.
I mean, you're gonna hear me complain. But I already told you, she's the most popular girl there.
You're not wrong. And
I,
the funny part about it is she has been there, what, maybe 5-6 months? No.
Yeah.
About maybe let's be generous and say 9 months. And she's already eclipsed a lot of the girls there. It does make you wonder what she's gonna do when she hits the main roster, no?
Well, it's funny because she had an opportunity to hit the main roster and she said no. And the reason being because she wanted to learn English. So the self-awareness to know that she needed to master her English is that in itself, astonishing. But I also think I just think she just has a look about her. It's just her look is not like everyone else on that roster.
And you mentioned, having the self-awareness to know that, to kind of tell yourself, well, calm down. I need to learn English, or I might sink if I get there. It doesn't just play into things like that, but being self-aware, you kind of know yourself better. You play to your strengths and try to hide your weaknesses. Which maybe some of the girls in NXT might not know how to do, which may have played even more into her getting, getting one up on the girls in NXT right now. No?
No. I mean, because people like who they like, and it's just I haven't seen the last person that was a woman that was in NXT with this much like aura around her was Asuka.
You're not wrong.
Like it's crazy. Now, what they did was they got the loss on her out of the way, which helped out big time. To let people know she's beatable.
Who did she lose to?
I want to say Kalani Jordan.
Really? I don't remember that.
It was a match. It was just like a little qualifying. She beat her.
Oh, continue.
But for her, it's just like it's magnetic. She's just magnetic, and the people are hooked. It's just, you know, and you can't, you can't. That's something you just can't duplicate. But I don't know. It's just the aura. It's just an aura that she has. She comes to the ring. She has this look like she's pretty but deadly. And that is a crazy combination.
Not Kit and Elton.
It's like Adam's family-ish.
No, I
Pretty
mean Kit
deadly.
and Elton. They're actually pretty deadly.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, them too. Yeah, sorry for them. But I mean, uh, but yeah, that, I mean, I don't think she's gonna be there long because I don't see her, I just see her being, you know, I think she's gonna hit that roster and it's gonna be a who's who of who the hell is gonna beat her, who's gonna be there. I think she's just, sky's the limit. And once she gets her English down, I think you might as well watch the fuck out.
And it definitely speaks volumes of, um, because for anybody that's not aware, Julia is having some visa issues and some lacking injuries, which kind of caused her to drop the title to Stephanie, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what does it kind of speak to the NXT side of things to say, hey, we already have a belt on Stephanie. Let's pick somebody else to win the women's championship. No, let's stick with Stephanie. You know what I mean?
Um, it's well, the thing is, of course, I I mean, I kind of saw this coming down the pipeline because doing a little research. But the thing is that it's just a matter of are they going to have her? My guess is they're going to make her relinquish the North American title, which allows them to have Jordan Grace do her thing until they need to hit heads. Unless they're just trying to go full force into it at Stand and Deliver, I don't think that they would because me personally, I think that's going to be the highlight for Bailey and Roxanne.
Right.
Um, but I mean, we'll see what they do with Jordan. I think they'll probably do tournament style. And the question is just who's going to be that foil for Jordan Grace? Because you got a lot of ladies you can pick from. Jada Parker, Kalani, Fallon, JC, Lola.
Yeah, I would not be mad if they put a strap on Lola.
So I mean, he's not even like Soul Ruka, Lash Legend.
I mean, Soul's going for the United States Championship next week. She's wrestling Chelsea Green. I mean, I don't expect her to win, but she has that opportunity.
Right. But she got the opportunity. But I don't see it either, but it's just the fact that it's just a gamut of women that can go from, that can go for that title and give her a run for her money.
What you're saying is the bakery is hot right now.
Hey, the bakery got the have you ever been to Krispy Kreme and they had that and they had that hot flash sign?
Yeah.
That hot and fresh sign? Yeah, it's hot and fresh. The bakery's hot and fresh right now.
You're not wrong.
Hmm.
I don't. You mentioned something. You think that they're going to fast track Stephanie sooner rather than later. I don't think so. I think Stephanie's gonna stay in NXT for a hot minute because, as you said, NXT hasn't had a woman with aura like Stephanie since Asuka, which makes her an attraction. And we've had this discussion before. Who, if NXT is coming to your town, who are you buying a ticket to see? And if Stephanie is that person for you, they're going to keep her for quite some time. At least until she is able to speak proper English, coherent English.
Hmm.
So I think that she's gonna stay there a hot minute. She's gonna build up that reputation. I mean, she's been there what, like I said, 9 months, and she's already built a fantastic reputation for herself. Um,
I mean, probably less than that.
yeah. So it's just a matter of it's going to be a it's going to be a big thing when she does, come onto the main roster. So probably milk as much as you can out of the NXT run as you can because she's hot right now and people want to see her. So and not a lot of people are buying tickets for NXT for specific wrestlers. So do what you can with her for as long as you got her, I say.
I mean, you can. And you can. Oh, yeah. And for my self correction, the match that she lost, actually, it was the number one contender Iron Man challenge, in which Julia won it.
Okay, so a 6-pack.
So, I mean, it was kind of like one of those where, yeah, it was kind of like 6, and then you had like 25 minutes to win as many falls as you can,
Okay,
type deal.
but did she take any falls is the question.
I don't think she did, but the fact that there's a loss there, kind of,
Yeah, but as long as she didn't take a pinfall loss, then, I think she might be okay.
I mean, psychologically, it's a thing because I mean, the last thing they want is to have. I mean, I don't think they're gonna want to have another Asuka in their hand where she was just so unbeatable that
Yeah,
when she did get beat, it was like the person who beat her. Everybody was more pissed off about it.
right. It's not going to be a streak or anything.
Right.
Yeah, but they are going to protect her. We've been talking about Stephanie. On the opposite end of that coin, Julia. It seemed like the rocket was strapped to her ass before Stephanie came around. And she might as well still have been NXT Women's Champion if not for some visa issues. From what I'm hearing, some injury issues as well. From what I'm getting, people saying, she didn't necessarily wrestle like she was injured. She looked okay, but you never necessarily know. Um, Bad timing, possibly good timing. What are your thoughts on Julia taking some time off? Because they did say that it is going to be a while until we hear from her again.
I mean, yeah. I mean, all of it was timing because it was like she came in and then 2 months later, Stephanie. Like I said, it was like the Krispy Kreme reference, bro. It was hot and ready, and they were coming. They were coming in hot, quick. But for her, the injury probably was more the unfortunate part, especially considering the person she beat. Uh, you usually won't have a title run that short, beating like the longest reigning women's NXT champion ever, right?
Right.
So to me, that screams more timing. A visa that didn't stop them from keeping Gunther fucking with a title. So I think it's more the injury than anything.
Right. I mean, you could have maybe worked with something, if if it was just visa issues, you may have, maybe worked something out. But, considering that, like you said, Gunter, um, but, I mean, there's nothing to really work out if she's injured.
Right. So to me, I think it was more injury than anything.
I mean, again, it's unfortunate, because, like I said, it seemed like the rocket was strapped to her ass, and now, nothing. But maybe,
Well, I wouldn't say nothing. I think it can, when she comes back, if Stephanie is still there and Jordan Grace is dominating, that's going to be a good story play out, competition wise.
right. I mean, I hope it's not, a case of, like, um, what was his name in NXT? Atami, um, Hito Atami, or as we know him, Kenta. Um, that type of situation. I do hope that when she does come back, there's some fire behind her, and people are happy to see her. I think they will, though.
I'm not with some fire in his ass.
Right. Well, keeping on the good WWE news, the Street Profits won the Tag Team Championships last night on SmackDown, or last morning on SmackDown, if you're in America. It was night in Barcelona, I guess. Um, I think this is the first time the Street Profits have won a title in 5 years. And my god, it has taken them way too long to win those titles back. No?
Um, and part of it was that they got stuck with the pride and then they just kind of got floundered when Lashley left. So you know what I mean?
Not to
It,
mention that the Usos had a clutch on those championships for a
and the
good.
Usos literally was bitches,
Yeah,
some bitches hostage for damn near 2 years. So 2 of them years, they were close with the Usos, just Usos the Usos. Usi being Usi. So, I mean, you can't knock it there. Um, and then when they finally did break the titles, they were kind of in the pride and Lashley leaves and it takes them forever to figure out who the hell they want to be.
right.
But I always said that this, and you can play the tape. I've been saying this for the longest. The Street Profits are the best when they all about that business and they want to fuck you up like in the parking lot. It just, I don't know. That take me serious. I ain't no fucking joke. And it seems like that just now is their persona. And I like it. I like it.
Right.
Cause it shows them, cause when they were with the pride, they tried to make it hurt, everyone saw it as Hurt Business 2.0.
Right.
So they never really got a chance to showcase their characteristics with it, right?
Right.
Now they're able to talk their talk.
Kalika?
So, I mean, cannot understate that this version of the Prophets is great for an otherwise understaffed tag team division.
You're not wrong. I'm still definitely a proponent that they should only have one tag team titles for both brands. We tried the tag team titles on Raw and SmackDown. It's failed miserably since WrestleMania. I think it's time to reunite those titles, in my opinion. But I'm still happy that the Profits won. Um, I was actually a pretty big supporter of them when they held the championships the first time. Ironically enough, when they were competing against the War Raiders, and anything you could do, I could do better competition.
Yeah,
So,
but
and then when they
well,
got back to being in front of crowds, they dropped the titles. And ironically enough, they held those championships for about a year, and then never had a real crack at those titles again since until now, 5 years later.
true. I, but every time that they had the titles in, they were kind of like happy-go-lucky.
Right.
Person, me personally, it seemed like that they were more happy-go-lucky. Um, I think this version is, and I think that, and they would show glimpses of being serious, but it would fade away. And this kind of takes them away from that. Hopefully they don't become, this takes them away from being possibly like a bootleg New Day, as most people can see it, because they're always happy and they're coming up. It's like, no, and I like it. I like it. And I think, I get it with the tags. I just think that they have tag teams. They just don't put emphasis on them because WWE kind of this is the one thing I will harp on them being lazy about. They have a tendency of putting two single stars together as a tag team and just go, well, here you go.
Yeah, they do that.
And that formula needs to go. And they do it with the women's tag team division too. And that's my biggest issue.
Because they don't have women tag teams.
Well, yeah. So why have it if you're not going to put an emphasis on it? And that to me is what is probably the most frustrating. I think that's more frustrating to people than anything. Because don't get me wrong, we love live life, love. However, we all know that she's a singles person.
Especially after the year she had last year.
Last year,
Yeah.
exactly. So to me, it almost like a cut your nose to spite your face because you had a tag team as Ladon and Alba Fry. You had what's the other ones? Katana Chance and was it Carter?
Yeah, something Carter.
And see, so you get, so that's where it kind of throws everything off. I mean, they trying to put together a tag team in NXT with Lash and I forgot her name.
Kiana?
And then you got Soul and
Kiana?
Kiana, yeah. Lash and Kiana. Which I mean it could work, but it's just more like you're gonna have to, when they did those titles, they should have just did it with the emphasis of actually having people stay together as tag teams rather than putting two single mother bleepers together. Because it almost seems like, okay, you don't have trust in them as singles people and you're trying to put them in a tag in a division that really doesn't have a tag.
True.
So, well, that to me, that just is mind-boggling as anything.
Nonetheless, congratulations to the Street Profits. And
Yeah, I will throw my red Solo cup in the air and then burn it because they ain't coming out with them bitches no more.
um, and a big congratulations to Orquick and Typhoon, going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Um, I believe Orquick is John Tenta, no?
I mean, yeah, that's some good stuff.
I mean, I could definitely make the argument that Orquick could have went in alone. But unfortunately, he's not here with us anymore. So I guess they'll have Typhoon, talk for him, and he still gets the nod to say that his family could say he has the nod that he's in the Hall of Fame. But it's kind of like a ceremonial induction rather than an actual, induction. But I mean, Orquick a was a big part of WWE at one point, no?
Yeah, I mean, and it also speaks that tag teams are running short
I mean,
as far as induction.
Demolition was right there.
I don't know what it is with them. Did Demolition owe a motherfucker money or something? Like what? I just don't get it.
They signed
Oh,
them. They signed Legends contracts. So it's
oh,
not like if there was any bad blood that they wouldn't be there. But I don't know.
it, I, bro, you got me. I'm like, shit. What? Who? Whose wife did they have sex with to be blacklisted like this? I mean, but I mean, the good thing about them not being in is the fact that now I mean, that's the only. I'm trying to think what other tag teams are left other than after Demolition.
Oh,
Because the Hardys aren't in, right?
the Hardys are not in. Um,
So the Hardys,
you could
the
tech
Dudleys are in.
you could technically do Edge with Christian.
You ain't doing Edge with Christian right now.
I'm
You
pretty.
had that shot. You had that shot 5 years ago.
Who knows at this point?
But but
Too cool.
I mean, other than them, who else?
Too cool. Scotty Too Hardy and what is his name? Grandmaster Sexy.
Ooh, that one. I mean, Rikishi got in by himself, right?
Yeah. You could
It's a
do
wrap.
Nation of
Nope, it
Domination.
ain't. It ain't. Nope, nope, ain't happening. I'm
Nation of Domination. Um,
not as a tag. That'd be a faction. I mean, you could do the New Age Outlaws as a tag team, but they went in with DX as a faction, so it wouldn't make sense. Um, Harlem Heat already got it.
true.
Uh, uh, shit, the Moondogs. Shit, I don't know. Like fuck, it gets like after the five, it gets hard.
Well, I'm
The
happy that.
Heavenly Bodies. There we go. Heavenly Bodies.
There you go.
There we go. How about that? Philip LaFon. Let's get him in.
What about the Russos?
The what?
The Russo brothers.
The Rougeaus? Oh man. I don't know.
What about the
Don't
Quebecers?
the Quebecers might have a shot, but nothing will say Hall of Fame like Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey.
Well, Nina's, natural disasters, earthquake, John slash Tenta,
Oh no! What was the other team? The did the Midnight Express make it?
yeah. No,
Okay,
was it
so
Rock
they
and
made
Roll
it.
Express or Midnight Express?
There's two. The Rock and Roll Express, I believe they made it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's okay.
It's the yeah, they made it. They made it. It's the Midnight Express. See, they can make an argument for the Midnight Express.
There you go. But again, definitely big congratulations to them. Earthquake, definitely deserving. Like I said, big part of WWE in the 80s. Crushed Hulk Hogan, when people actually liked that guy, which caused which caused them to make get well soon cards for Hulk Hogan at that time, which was a strategy to get people on a mailing list, which worked beautifully at the time. He's also known for, crushing Damien, Jake the Snake's snake. So there was definitely a lot of history with him. And obviously Typhoon was a big part of WWE as well at the time. So
Yeah, because he was the person that saved Earthquake, and they became
the natural
yeah
disasters.
natural disasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely well deserving. Um,
Yes, congrats to them. They deserve it. Along with Lex Luger, because didn't he get announced too?
yeah, we talk about that last week, I believe.
We did. We did. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
we did.
we did. So it's starting to fill out. The class is starting to fill out.
If only the class wasn't, you have to pay to get in there separately from SmackDown now, and tickets are $1,000, like everything else in WrestleMania in Las Vegas.
I mean, they got with UFC. I saw that shit coming. It was,
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to rebel against this shit, but you know, it doesn't seem like it's happening.
why do you think they tell all these good ass stories? They want your
Yeah.
ass. Step that script room in the backup.
Um, Speaking of Hulk Hogan being disliked, he's currently on a meet and greet tour, um, to promote his beer, Real American Beer. And it's not going well, as you probably could expect. He's doing these meet and greets, like I said, and he's showing up incredibly late for these meet and greets, and he's not staying long. People are waiting maybe 4 or 5 hours to see him, and he's not staying. He's maybe staying 2 hours at max, and he just abruptly gets up and leaves after, um, whenever he actually feels like it, which is making people more angry at Hulk Hogan than they normally are. I mean, if you're promoting something and you're doing a meet and greet tour, you want people to buy your beer. Why would you just leave them hanging and say, "Well, I was here. Go fuck yourself, but buy my beer"? That doesn't seem like a smart strategy, no?
I mean, I mean, considering the climate he decided to put himself in, he's kind of in that Target, Walmart ish zone. So I mean, hey, it's we found out who Hulk Hogan was. I forgot someone was like, man, you don't want to meet your heroes because you find out your heroes ain't shit. And it's it seems like that might be the case for one Terry, which I mean, it's crazy because all that shit Macho Man was talking, we thought he was bullshitting.
Did we? I mean, I mean, Beatman Hulk kind of explained everything.
Be a man, Hogan. Yeah, Be a Man, Hogan was like the shit.
Yeah.
He dropped a whole rap album dissing this man.
Nasty Boy Brian Knobs is currently having some health issues. He's having a blood infection or some type of infection that is threatening his life right now. He has a GoFundMe page up. Let's hope that Brian is able to kick out at two before this becomes a big problem for him. We definitely send out um, our best to him and his family.
That's true. But don't Hogan got some bread?
Huh?
Because that's his cousin.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, it doesn't seem like Hulk is helping at this point. He's like, that don't work for me, brother. Or
I
that don't
mean,
work for me, cousin.
him staying for 2 hours ain't helping his ass. Standing at the grocery store don't work for me, brother. See those eggs?
Okay, you're kind of leaning more towards Randy Savage than Hulk Hogan there, accent wise.
I never said I could do a good Hogan.
Fair enough. Um, somebody we have not heard from in a very long time, Kid Cash, WCW, ECW, and TNA alumni. Well, actually, he was in WWE at one point too. Um, he retired in 2017. Finally back up and at him. He's taking some bookings. So Kid Cass back on the scene. Happy to see that. No.
I mean, yeah, but he's probably like, man, see all this money these motherfuckers making? Let me jump in on that shit.
I mean, he is called Kid Cass after all.
Hey, I'm just saying, gotta get the moniker.
Yeah.
Gotta get it how you live.
I mean, Kid Cass is one hell of a worker as well. Definitely no shade there. I hope he could still go as well as he did. I mean, that's yet to be seen, but I mean, he's coming back. Let's see what happens. Maybe he'll get
Yeah,
one more run.
I mean, shit, if Too Cold Scorpio can out here popping it, I'm pretty sure he got it.
Oh yeah. I mean, Too Cold maybe has some encouragement when it comes to his wrestling nowadays. He only wrestles at 420, but you know that's his choice in the matter, no?
Hey, that by any means necessary was always the moniker.
So Kid Cash on his way back in, possibly on his way out. One Shinsuke Nakamura. We reported last week, you know, he lost a United States Championship to LA Knight. It's reported that WWE might not be renewing his contract when it comes up. I'm not exactly sure when his contract comes up, but there's a difference between firing somebody and not renewing somebody. I mean, obviously Nakamura's always been a big star, you know, in Japan. It didn't necessarily translate that well in WWE, but you know, he did have some success.
Bushi?
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Nakamura possibly not getting renewed by WWE?
I mean, he should have went. I mean, Nakamura, you said he wasn't a star that didn't translate? That motherfucker was over.
I mean, it didn't translate as well in WWE and then in New
Because
Japan.
I call bullshit. I call bullshit. That dude was on it. Where they fucked him was when he lost to AJ.
After Mania.
He wasn't.
At Mania.
He wasn't. He wasn't right ever since then. Heaven forbid, Asuka wasn't right ever since then. They fucked over their two biggest Japanese stars in one night.
Yeah. Um, New Orleans was not kind to their Japanese exports.
I know. I mean, I guess the beignets must wasn't snapping for them, but yeah, that dude was over. He was over. Like the year before in Orlando, his line in Access, boy, he was one of the longest lines. He was over. Wildly popular. Very popular.
I mean,
Just
yes, but you're talking
they,
about NXT Nakamura, not WWE Nakamura.
but it translated to WWE Nakamura. Remember? He wasn't right when that happened, and he wasn't right when Gender beat him. Those two things fucked him the most.
I guess so. But I mean, it seemed like he was doing really well recently with the Darth Vader gimmick he got going on. But for some apparent reason, they kept him off TV rather than doing something with him. It seems like that's been they do something good with him, and then they keep him off TV for like 3-4 months. I mean, he only defended the United States Championship once. I don't know why though.
Maybe because they knew he wasn't going to resign. I don't. Trying to work the kinks in the back with the signature. Couldn't get it, so they just said we'll drop it. That's what it seems like to me.
If WWE doesn't renew his contract, I mean, obviously he has a home in New Japan. They take him in a
Oh
heartbeat.
my god.
Um,
Fucking godsend. Maybe
Especially right now, considering where things are with New Japan.
I
Um,
know they.
but as of now, I'm aware that he lives in America. So could Nakamura go to an AEW or a TNA? Or
No.
is Nakamura big enough of a star to hit the independents and make some bank?
He don't need it. He's good. He's good going back to Japan. Because they need that head above heels star.
And that he is. Considering
Especially with Ace leaving, they need it. They fucking need it.
considering what's going on with New Japan right now. The New Japan Cup kicked off last week. And night one was a complete and utter disaster. Um, the ring broke that they were using in Korakuen Hall. Um, Tanahashi came out, explained that New Japan has two rings. One ring was going out on the road to the next venue that they're going to. Um, and then the one that they were using was going to be the one that was going to be in Korakuen Hall that night that the wrestlers were going to be in. Well, the ring
Mm-hmm.
post snapped. It broke, and they could not get the ring from off the road in time for the show. So they were unable to have matches on night one of New Japan Cup. Instead, they did photo ops with the factions taking the ring. People took pictures of them, and they did a couple of interviews with the wrestlers that would be in the New Japan Cup the following night. The following night, yes, they did have a ring. They were able to wrestle. They did a double night of matches with uh because obviously they had to cancel because they didn't have a ring the night prior. Yeah, that doesn't look good for New Japan. And I mean, their home base is in Japan and Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have their ring wasn't in. They didn't have a training ring from the dojo that they could have brought. They only have two rings. Did they sell a ring during the pandemic? Like, what the fuck happened there? And this is the first time you're
I'm.
actually hearing this. You told me to hold off on telling you what was happening because you wanted to hear on air. So what are your
Oh
thoughts
yeah,
on
because
all
they
this?
gonna use because they using two rings till the literal turnbuckle fell off.
Yeah,
And that's what happened. They were like, "No, we gonna use this bitch till the wheel fall off." And they're like, "Oh shit, the wheel fell off."
yeah. Could we use only two wheels or three wheels? Nope, probably not.
Like, oh, oh shit.
Motherfucker.
Gay, Gato better get his shit up.
You're not wrong.
Like, okay, but what's wrong with and Tanahashi? He man, better sell one of them guitars, get a goddamn ring. And
Yeah.
not a good look at all. However, I mean, they're the biggest thing there. Who's gonna tell them? Who gonna tell them about themselves? Who gonna check them, boo?
Very true. Well, since we're in it, let's talk about the New Japan Cup. Evil defeated Yoda Tsuji. I don't believe we called that.
We didn't see that. That was not on the bingo card.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking myself. I don't remember who we had, but I'm pretty sure Evil was not on that list. Uh,
We said Suji. That was Suji's bracket to lose.
right, yeah. And then David Finlay took out Evil. I believe the House of Torture and the War Dogs are not a faction anymore. They're different people now.
I mean, kind of like the firing squad and the elite. What's like,
Yeah. But I never
oh
really felt like
god,
House of Torture was Bullet Club in the first place. They were just like assholes that did what they wanted.
rebels without a cause.
Yeah. Yuya Uemura defeated Sonata. No shock there.
Yeah,
And he beat Yoshihashi as well. Kalika?
I mean, fuck Yoshihashi. The fact he got to the second round without trying is
Yeah.
who, who the fuck signed that off? Who the fuck booked this shit?
Rayo Iowa defeated Chase Owens. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Iowa. Um,
Yep,
Gabe Kidd defeated Ren Narita. Taichi defeated Gabe Kidd.
yep.
Great Khan defeated El Phantasmo.
Mm-hmm.
Shota Umno defeated Great Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Naito defeated Callum Newman. Jeff Cobb defeated Naito. Not the
We told you that.
yeah, 50-50.
I I told you Jeff Cobb gonna kill him. He's gonna
Yeah.
kill that man.
Drilla Maloney defeated Ishii. Definitely a
Upset.
upset. He also defeated TJP. Bolton Aleg defeated Bad Luck Fale. How the fuck did that happen? But
Yeah,
Jingo Hakage defeated Oleg. So what we have coming up,
for the
these matches,
quarters.
these matches probably already happened as we're recording this. But David Finlay versus Yuya Uemura, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Taichi, Shota Umino versus Jeff Cobb, and Drilla Maloney versus Shingo Takagi. Interesting bracket to say the least. No.
I mean, they were like, what's the wackiest bracket we could bring? What is the most out of pocket left field bracket we could come up with? Let's do that.
I mean,
Because the people,
yeah, continue.
I mean, shit. I mean, there's more than one upset. I thought it was gonna be chalk, except thought it'd be a lot more chalkier.
I feel like New Japan's booking method right now was fuck it.
Pray for Nakamura to come.
Yeah, pray for Nakamura, but until then, fuck it. Let's throw shit at the wall. Let's see if it sticks.
I mean, this semi. I mean, it's anybody's fucking tournament at that point.
I feel like Shingo would make the most sense, and then you get a hard hitting match between Shingo and Goto. But then again, I could make a case that any of these guys could win, except Drilla Maloney.
Yeah, but Zack Sabre Jr. versus Taichi is gonna be a fucking crazy match.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy work.
What were
That's
they?
gonna be crazy work.
Dangerous Tacos.
Yeah, the tag champs.
Yeah, that's actually low key when I started liking Zack, was that tag team. And Taichi a little bit as well. So yeah, finally getting that match. Do you go with a name that people know, or do you go with the rising stars? You could, I mean, Yuya and Shota are obviously, on the rise. They're the new faces of New Japan. Do you go with them, or do you go with the match that's probably going to draw more money? I don't think Zack's going to win.
I think Zack's gonna win.
I mean, it would have been his third time winning the New Japan Cup, though.
Well, that's the only. I mean, the way that they're making this look, that's the only way he's gonna get his fucking rematch. Because this motherfucker went on and fighting Nagata and everybody else and their mama, and they ain't fighting him.
As of right now, I'll go with the Kage. And my second will be Yuya Uemura. What say you, Kaliko?
Ooh. Shota.
Okay.
I think the winner of Shota Cobb wins.
Okay. So, Shota, and your second win, second is Cobb.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we shall see. Most of these matches are probably already in the books, so yeah.
And watch Drilla Maloney win the motherfucker.
Fuck that guy.
No, that's Yoshihashi, sir.
Oh. No, no number 2, only number 1. The Bet Channel revealed the greatest black wrestler of all time is Booker T. I mean, did they not know who The Rock was?
There's this propensity with The Rock where most people think he claims more of his Samoan side than his African American.
True. But what about Too Cold Scorpio?
Now that one, yes. I mean, I can argue that. Ron Simmons, anyone? Like,
I mean, first black champion, but I mean, if we're not going, half black, then and we're just going full.
well,
black.
I didn't say, I'm just saying The Rock ain't gonna get the flack because of the fact that he seems to be on that side more so than his black side, to his own detriment.
Yeah. But if we're just going not like I was saying, not if we're not going half black, if we're going full black, then yeah, I would say Booker T would be up there. If not number
He'd
1.
be up there. I mean, Booker T could be up there. I mean, his story is phenomenal. I think he's the most resilient of the bunch, considering the whole WCW angle and having to deal with that shit and
Yeah.
working his way through that to be, a top guy.
Who would you make an argument that could be in replace of Booker T?
In place of Booker T as a black wrestler. Jesus, it's tough.
Well, I
Yeah,
would
it's
say,
tough.
well,
I mean,
Watson
Too
is
Cold Scorpio was a guy ahead of his time.
right. True.
And no one will really appreciate his shit, even though he was doing the shit now and making it look easy. What these kids are like damn near breaking their neck doing. Um, uh, I mean, in the South, a Junkyard Dog was the guy. But it was just more persona. Coco Beware was a good guy outside the territories.
Would you put Bobby Lashley in that conversation?
Bobby Lashley damn well could be in that conversation. Everywhere he's went, he's been a champion.
Current tag team champion in AEW right now.
I mean, shit, should be the champion in AEW right now. The moment they get out of that Death Rider shit.
I mean, I love Swerve, but I don't think Swerve is in the greatest of all time category right now.
Swerve's still writing his history.
Right.
He's still writing his book. Black wrestlers, holy shit. R-Truth.
And you know what? I put Kofi in there as well.
Kofi's in there. Damn it. Oh, let's see. Top 5 pure African American wrestlers. Holy shit. it's tough. I mean, that should have been a Black History Month thing last month. You stumped. Because yeah, you can make a case for Kofi, Lashley, Booker T.
I mean, I'm okay with Booker T. I don't think it's a controversial take.
It's not. Now that you think about it, it's not as far fetched as we think. Well, people are gonna, like I said, people are gonna yell Rock, and the only reason I say that is because if that were the case, if they were really serious about The Rock, they would have told us when he won the title, he was the first Black African American champion. Kofi Mania wouldn't exist. If you see what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I get what you mean.
See, that's the knock. That's the biggest knock on him.
Oh,
Because
we completely forgot about one name that should definitely be on that list.
it better not be Ahmed Johnson.
Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah. Hotep Cody? Shit. He from Atlanta. Got a sister. Yeah. Hotep Cody.
All right. Well, I mean, we just fixed the list for BET right there. Cody Rhodes, number
There
one,
we go.
greatest Black
BET.
wrestler
I
of
mean,
all time.
first of all, no one still, if you still watch BET, I need to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. But that's a whole nother issue for a whole nother day.
Yeah, I mean, obviously BET scene WWE is hot right now. Obviously trying to get on the bandwagon. Somebody that jumped back on the train. A1 Miro. He renewed his vows with Lana. I didn't even
Wait,
know.
what?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
Well, I heard the divorce, but god damn, that was quick.
Yeah, apparently she was, and I mean, this is all speculation and rumor and innuendo. Primarily me making drama. But she was dating Damian Priest, and Miro was like, well, hold up a minute. I don't want to be like the other Miro. And, you know,
He's here for a good time, not a long time.
yeah. So, tried to renew with, I was referring to Mark Miro.
Oh,
Sable and
oh shit.
Brock Lesnar, that scenario. Um, he's a forgiving man. What was I giving that? Oh, so he asked her, you know, could we try and put things back together? She said sure. They worked things out, renewed their wedding vows, back together once again.
Well, diggity damn.
Yep, that is something that happened for sure.
2025 bingo card has been what? Wait, what?
You're not wrong.
Like what? Well, 2025 is just already like, take me now, Lord.
I mean, not in the pro wrestling sense.
I mean, in pro wrestling too. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, no.
He divorced her and then divorced her, went home, came back and said, "Nah, I can't live without you. Let's do this over." It's like, wait, what?
Don't take Damian Priest. Love me, baby. Yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully they could make it work this time around.
I mean, at this rate, shit.
Probably not, but you know, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Alright, I think that will conclude our coverage of the news. And now a quick word from our sponsors.
So, Rogue Energy, the only gaming drink company in the world with 4 unique product lines to suit your task at hand, whether it be juices, shakes, smoothies, and everything else in between there. Low calorie, no sugar energy formula is the perfect alternative to sugar-filled canned energy drinks and sodas. Their extreme formula provides the most energy, focus, and sports performance possible. Their hydration line offers focus, ingredients without the added caffeine. Drink it anytime you're thirsty. And their shake formula is so delicious. Who doesn't love a cookies and cream, 0-calorie energy milkshake? First and foremost, they've designed every Rogue product line with performance and effectiveness in mind. It is critical that you look at the nutrition panels of drinks when comparing options. There are countless off-brands out there that are presenting low-quality, poorly dosed formulas that amount to expensive caffeine water. Every formula they produce is designed with optimal levels of high-quality ingredients. Additionally, you won't find a powdered gaming drink brand that dissolves better. No need to have chalky textures in your drink. Their taste profiles are unmatched, specifically designed for gamers, athletes, students, entrepreneurs, people with hectic schedules, individuals with low energy, podcasters who can't shut up, people who are health conscious, and so much more. Great as both a pre-workout and as a coffee energy drink replacement. Specifically designed every Rogue product line to be the best gaming drink on the planet. Rogue Energy, more focus, more wins.
Use promo code WRESTLINGWITHE for 10% off your next purchase. And we are wrestling with AEW Revolution. It took place in Los Angeles, California, at the Crypto Arena in
Staples. Mama called it Staples. We call it Staples.
We call it Staples Center. Attendance was the setup for the event was 11,745. Attendance was 11,322. Only available tickets were 423. Thank you, WrestleTix on X, for that information. Honestly, the biggest crowd that they've done in quite some time. And having been there, it was a hot crowd. People was into what was seen or what was happening. The problem with AEW is when you build some momentum like this, especially coming out of, massive news like, John Cena is a heel now. You wanna get some, not heat. You want to get people talking and you want to get people hyped for your show. And they did a decent job at that during the event. We'll talk about the event in a second, but literally the next Wednesday on Raw, on Dynamite, it's main evented by Orange Cassidy and Hechicero. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, you had all of that story, you made all of that whoop-de-doo on Sunday, and then your main event for Wednesday is Hechicero versus Orange Cassidy. They don't know how to hold on to momentum. But going back to the event itself, I was there, so I did do what I usually do for all of AEW events. I'd watch 2 matches at a time. So I watched the first 2 matches, then I left the arena. I came back the next day. I watched 2 new matches. No, like, legitimately, this was the first time I've watched a full AEW paid preview, including pre-show, in a very long time. Maybe almost ever. So, I do say that it is maybe a slightly easier to digest when you're there, but maybe not by much. But I've said a lot so far. What was your thoughts about the show as a whole?
I mean, Yeah, you kind of nailed a little bit of it. Like it's almost like they become an enemy of getting in their own way, um, which makes it crazy, right? That we think of them that way. Um, I overall good, okay match. Some of the stuff that I expected to happen, that we expected to happen, just kind of like bam, went left field on us. Which that was a pleasant surprise, to say the least. So I can't say, give them credit for that much. Certain things we knew was gonna be the outcome. Mercedes Monet, we talking to you, and then and everything else, we it kind of was what it was.
Do you want to know what my biggest issue with this show was? It was placement of the matches on the card. The matches that the match order of these the order of these matches was wonky as fuck, and it like I said, like you said, like I said, AEW it can gets in their own way and can be their own worst enemy, and they were 100% their worst enemy when it came to how they booked this card. Um, we'll get into that a little later, but let's talk about the main card. Um, well, the the pre-show matches was Commander and a hologram with Alex Abrahantes. They defeated Lee Johnson and Blake Christian in 9 minutes 55 seconds. Daniel Garcia with the Undisputed Kingdom defeated Shane Taylor Promotions in 9 minutes 10 seconds. And Big Boom, AJ, the Costco guy, teamed with Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe to defeat John Morrison and Mansoor and Manson Madden with Tyre Valkyrie. And
Eminem.
yeah. So you didn't necessarily miss much with the undercard or the pre-show, as some call it. But the thing, first and foremost, I can't believe that I actually saw the Costco guy wrestle. Like I've seen The Rock wrestle CM Punk, but did I really need to see the Costco guy wrestle? But in the same breath, people were actually into the fucking Costco guy. Like he got bigger pops than some of the people on the main card. Like what the fuck?
Costco practices DEI. Just saying. Costco's hot right now.
Oh, that brings us to the first match of the main card, and that is porn stars Adam Page defeating MJF in 19 minutes 10 seconds. Um, Not a bad match. Thought it was a good match. Maybe too long. If I didn't decide to take sides on this match, I doubt I would have cared about it. I went with Hangman. Hangman won. Was kind of okay with that. Wasn't gonna cry if MJF won though. Felt like there was good back and forward. But what say you, Kaliko? What did you think of the match?
I mean, the shocker was that Adam Page won.
Definitely not.
Usually, I would have thought the lifer would have got it, but it is what it is.
How many stars you give this one?
I 3.
Um, 3.5. Maybe it's because I being in attendance bias. I give it another half. So all my ratings will be bumped by a half because I was there.
Oh, look at you. The I was there t-shirt factor. Look at you.
Yes. Um, that brings us to the AEW That Bitch Show Championship. Mercedes.
Well, you forgot about the other AEW that bitch, which is time for another episode of Guess the Rating.
Where's the sound effect? There you go.
Hey, I get the thumbs up, the class. There we go. Let's
There you
go.
go. Okay, so it went 20, just under 20 minutes. There was a couple of forced finishes. Low-key, somebody almost died because of a bad botch. Let's see. How many stars do I want to give this? Okay, so I am going to give this. Well, Dave Meltzer is giving it 4.25.
Damn, you were close.
4.5.
4.5.
Okay. I mean, it explains a lot about Dave Meltzer, so. Okay. So, going to That Bitch Show Championship, Mercedes Monet defeated Momo Watanabe. Honestly, the whole match was crickets. Like, there was crickets the whole long way, unfortunately. And the shame is, Momo is actually a really good wrestler. Got hurt during the match as well. I think she broke her ankle. I couldn't necessarily tell you. But there was actually on the floor of the show, there was a fight broke out, and people were actually more interested in that fight than what was going on in the actual ring. I don't know if that took away from the match, but it definitely had more cheers than what was going on in the ring. Unfortunately. Um. So yeah, it was hard to care knowing who was gonna win. What say you, Kaliko?
I mean, I could have told you that bitch was getting sacrificed, yo. I mean, I personally, I don't even know why I'm even talking about this match because we knew what was going to happen.
That we did, and it happened.
Like, it happens, all right? Next.
We have actually ratings. We need ratings. How many stars
Yes,
do you give
you. Too, because it was predictable as shit. We knew what was going to happen. We knew who was going to win.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. 2. Doesn't get biased. I give the guys that had the match in the stands uh, 2.5 because of bias.
You give them a better rating than goddamn. Oh, wow.
Alright, that brings us to number
The
1.
next rating.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. 3?
Higher.
3.5.
Higher.
4.25.
4.25.
You gotta watch out for those quarters.
And it is Melter and Monet. I guess their name starts with M, so Eminem connection.
I mean, I didn't think that he liked her that much, but then again, um, Momo is Japanese, and he does love his Joshis. That's for sure.
Damn.
Um, the singles match to determine the number one contender for the AEW World Championship. We have Swivel Strickland, which prints na 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 hey hey goodbye. Um, he defeated Rick Lachey in 18 minutes and 10 seconds. Uh, my God, the crowd was fucking electric for Swerve Strickland. Like, when they say whose house, Swerve's house, the fucking Staples Center was Swerve's house because he people were there to Swerve when they drived. They were all about it. They were there for it. Um, and yeah, it worked really really well. Um, I didn't think it was a bad match either. Um, Told a pretty good story if I do say so myself. But Nana leaving, you know, playing, oh, there's issues between me and Swerve, just to trick um, Ricochet, stuff like that. Um, and Swerve's presenting Nana with the robe was actually a pretty good feel good moment as well. So, what say you, Kaliko? What did you think about the match?
I mean, the right guy won, so we could thank God for that, right? At least one can thank God for that. Uh, I I think the issue now is like, where does Ricochet go from here?
Um, Back onto the independents.
I Does he?
Why don't want him in AEW?
Damn, that bad.
I
Tough
don't want.
crowd.
I don't want to see Ricochet. Generally, but continue with your thoughts.
Damn, just doing my man dirty. What did Ricochet do to you, son?
I mean, I just don't like him.
He gonna look at you. He don't give a shit. He got the hottest chick in the game, wearing the chain.
I mean, he doesn't have Stephanie Vacour, so that doesn't. So it means literally nothing. Null and void.
Wow. Cold blooded. Yeah, you're right. He ain't got the bakery. What is it? I mean,
Yeah.
touche. Touche.
The match, Kaliko. The match.
The match. But I told you the right guy won. I mean, that's about as much as you can make of it. I mean, Swerve got the hometown. It felt like he got the West Coast treatment,
That he did.
considering he is a northeast or northwest kid. So, I mean, it felt like the Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints when New Orleans first played in the dome after the flood, and Ricochet was the Atlanta Falcons getting his ass waxed.
And when's the last time the Falcons ever won a Super Bowl?
They never won a Super Bowl. They blew a Super Bowl before they even won a Super Bowl.
I mean, that sounds very Ricochet, no?
That sounds very Ricochet at all. Very much so, especially when it's someone who proclaims himself to be, quote unquote, the Kobe Bryant of this shit.
Then win no fucking world championships, but you're Kobe Bryant.
Hey man, you gotta start somewhere. If nobody else believes in you, how can you believe it?
I mean, hasn't he been wrestling like for like legitimately like 20 years?
Yeah, I mean Prince Puma, the Puma days. Yeah, he's been in the game for a minute.
And he hasn't won a WWE World Championship, a TNA Championship, and I mean, TNA gives those championships out like free candy.
You're lying, sir. They don't give them out like candy.
That prove me wrong.
I mean, if that was the case, Adam Cole's ass should have had one.
I mean, he wasn't in a TNA.
Oh, you talking about TNA?
Yeah.
Or I mean, that's AEW. See AEW. Oh yeah, if you can't get it in TNA, shit, Naomi fucking hopped her ass out and got.
Fucking Dolph Ziggler. I mean, he didn't win a
To
world
be
championship.
fair, Dolph Ziggler's a former world champion. Put some respect on the name.
Very true. Didn't win a world championship in WWE, NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. Oh, maybe he won it in Lucha Underground, but like they died like a decade
Lucha,
ago.
yeah. See?
I mean, they died like a decade ago. Like a company that's actually is still in business. What?
I mean, damn.
How many stars you give this one?
3.5 because it was a good match. I mean, but I just you felt the crowd. The crowd made it seem like if Swerve lost, they were gonna riot. So Ricochet had to take one for the team.
I give this 4.5. It did everything that it needed for me in the match. Got the swerve when I drive. Um, had some good moments. Had some drama. Everything worked. Honestly, this was the match of the night for me, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, look at you. I mean, look at you. Got you a match of the night. The AEW got a match out of the night out of your head.
Well, like I was saying, to be fair, I was at the show, so you know, there had to have been something to stand out for me to enjoy my time at the show.
I mean, hey, take how you get it. Although, I mean, fun fact, I remember one time, sidebar. I showed my mom an AEW show, and the first match was Swerve, and Prince Nana coming out there doing all that Swerve shit. And my mom just like, look at this black ass acting a fool. Just was like, Mom is wrestling. Come on. Give a man some slack. It's crazy.
Put some respect on the prince's name.
I mean, I tried. I tried to help her. No avail.
I get it. Alright, Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave.
4.
You said 4?
Yeah.
Higher.
4 7/5.
That's the money.
Damn, almost a 5-star match.
Or, I mean, I think he's trying to show Swerve love since Swerve lost the title.
I think he's trying to show Tony love. This is how he shows
Ooh.
Tony love.
I mean, I would think he would give all these to show the Young Bucks love.
I mean, the Young Bucks slowly packed up and went to New Japan.
You would too when motherfuckers out here trying to choke you out with a paper bag.
Yep. You know what? I'll give them credit. They knew when it was time to leave. And literally their own company.
I mean, I mean, they're black. They see some shit go down, they get the fuck out of town.
What? The Young Bucks are not black.
They showed the black tendencies.
Fair enough. Um, we have the AEW Continental Breakfast Championship. Kazuchika Okao defeated Borgo Brody King in 10 minutes and 55 seconds.
Next,
Loki, I didn't think it was a bad match. Brody played the monster. Okada gave him some momentum to let him play the monster. Those chops that he gave him was gut wrenching. I thought for what it was, it worked. Just my opinion. How many stars you give this one?
let's see. Okada not being Okano's 3.5.
3.5. I'll give it. I'll give it 4. Give that half a star biased.
Look at you. Man, that half a star bias turning your 3s into 5s, bro.
It turned it into a 4. It wasn't that big of a jump. I thought it. Again, I thought
Just
it
saying.
worked for what it was. Uncle Dave gave this 4.25.
Lower.
3.5.
Told you. Higher.
3/7/5.
3/7 I told you, man, he was on par with me with this match. He agreed with me.
Now we have.
He's seen better out of Okada. He knows better.
Honestly, this was the best match Okada had in maybe his whole tenure of AEW as of now. Maybe you could make an argument for the Ospreay match he had a couple months ago, but the guy just hasn't had good matches in AEW generally.
Yeah, look who he's working with. No offense. Let me stop that.
I mean, I like Brody. I think Brody's a good worker. If
No, I'm talking about the talent with the continental pool and all that.
oh yeah,
Like, they're not giving him, like, I don't know. It's just, they're not. It feels like he's the Rainmaker, but the wrestler formerly known as the Rainmaker.
he's the light drizzle maker.
Drizzle King.
Let me see it.
There it is.
Dribble, dribble. Let me see you wiggle, wiggle, if you know what I mean.
There it goes.
We got the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Ouchie Business, Bobby Lashley and Sultan Benjamin with VIP. They defeated the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd and Troop Magnum. Yeah, this was your Botchamania highlight, I would say. Literally, on your hands, you knew who was winning next. Like, please get to the next match. And
It felt like this match was on like WWE Superstars in the 80s.
you're not lying. Like, and it was I mean, the Outrunners, obviously the crowd is kind of into them right now, but they were definitely not ready for prime time, if I'm being completely honest. Like, they were not what they needed to be in this match. And they were basically just cannon fodder for the Hurt Business. I mean, we knew that they was already, but they could have had somewhat of a better showing than they did. They just looked like shit in this match, if I'm being honest.
I mean, you were expecting more out of that. I mean, they're making Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin look like Shelton Benjamin and Brock Lesnar back in OVW.
Well, luckily it only lasted 8 minutes and 40 seconds. It felt like 15,
Well,
if I'm being honest. But what say you, Kaliko? How many stars you give this one?
it was only 8 minutes, but it felt like 15. Oh my god.
It felt like
But two, we knew who was going to win.
It felt like, oh my god.
Oh, sorry, continue.
Just end it. Just end the match. like Bobby, beat him. Win the match now, Bobby. Win the match, Bobby.
Rocky Four, throw the towel.
Yeah.
Throw the towel.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You know what? I give this a 1.5. The I was still bias goes both ways. So I took off a 0.5 star.
Damn. He took off the curve. Damn. All right. What do you think Meltzer gave it?
2.5.
Lower.
2.25.
Lower.
2.
1.5.
Wow, really?
Really?
Considering Swerve and Swerve and Ricochet was almost 5, and then 2 matches later this is 1.5. That's insane.
That's a wild swing.
Yeah. False count ending anywhere. Hollywood ending match. Timeless Tony Storm with Lex Luthor defeated Mariah Carey by pinfall in 12 minutes and 55 seconds. Yeah, this was one of the reasons a lot of people actually came to the show, was the Hollywood ending between Tony Storm and Mariah May. One of the best women's storylines that have been on any wrestling program for quite some time. These girls knew how to tell a fantastic story leading into this show. The match itself, there were some things I liked. There were some things I didn't like. Obviously, they killed each other, which you would expect. I love the fact that Mariah May came out as a bride. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride herself. Kind of plays into the storyline. There was a taser, that was cool. The Sioux, playing a major factor, considering that's how everything kicked off. No pun intended. But the thing that really took me out was the glass and them taping up their hands with the sticky side up and putting the glass on their fist like Van Damme, not Rob. Things like hokey things like that really take me out of matches, especially when it stops the match completely in order to set something up. Uh, but I mean, at the end of the day, it did what it was supposed to do. I could maybe argue it could have been maybe like 3 minutes longer. Um, but like I said, some things I liked, some things I didn't like. The things I didn't like didn't necessarily bother me as much as they could have. Could have. They probably would have if I watched it on TV. Um, what say what say you, Kaliko? What did you think?
I mean, it went from a street fight to the Kumite with the glasses. I'm like, yeah, the first thing I thought when the glass, when they put their hands in the glasses, I'm like, wait a minute, we have blood sport? Like,
Yeah.
like, wait, but I mean, but for these two, I could see why they needed to stop to make that happen because it just kind of showed, it just showed the willingness that they're willing, the willing to, the willingness to project bodily harm on somebody. And it's almost kind of like the women's version of the Swerve Page match in LA,
Okay.
in a sense where it was like very violent a lot. I mean, the whole point of it was to show the violence.
I mean, nobody was getting
Uh,
hepatitis in this match, though.
I mean, nobody was going to Kaiser. I mean, but they were going to Kaiser.
Oh yeah, a lot
The
of
trip
these.
to Kaiser was,
I mean, everybody went. No, not Kaizo, but Cedars, Cedar Sinai.
but yeah, I mean, but the right person won at the end, so it all ended well. Like I just said, the question is, where does Mariah go from here? Because you did all that to make her a star, and she had the title for what, 4 months
She
at
did
best,
nothing with the title, though. Well,
right? So she basically was Shinsuke Nakamura with the U.S. title
more or less, yeah.
with a longer time frame.
How many stars do you give this one?
Considering that they went all out, I'll give it a 4.
I'll give it a 4 as well. It was the Hollywood ending that the rivalry deserved.
Yes.
Alright, Dave Meltzer.
Days melts. Fucking melts.
4 7/5.
Higher.
5.
Give it a 5.
Damn. So Glass, it makes it a 5-star. Okay, I got you, Dave.
I guess. Blood squirts makes it a 5.
AEW International Championship match. Kenny Omega defeated Colt Kutska, take Shida in 28 minutes 30 seconds. Felt like a Kenny Omega match. Felt like Kenny Omega, somewhat New Japan. Maybe not as intense as his New Japan matches, but I felt like maybe it ended slightly abruptly. You know, he didn't necessarily get the, one winged angel, what is it called? A definitive win. But, people still popped for him, and people were into the match the whole long way. I mean, like I said, it's Kenny Omega in a singles match. People were showing up for it. And
Yep.
I mean, I was definitely invested. At this point in the show, we're almost 4 hours. No, we're probably no, we're 4 hours into the show. So, I mean, I was fatigued, but I was still into it. I was still up for it. Um, what say you, Kaliko?
Although this match, it, I, I'm kind of conflicted in this match because while Konosuke was having a hell of a run, it was just glad to see Kenny be Kenny, even for a little bit, right? Considering what he went through last year.
Right.
And it just goes to show that he still got it, and he's working his way back to it. And otherwise, they wouldn't have put the belt on him if they didn't feel comfortable with him being the Kenny of old. Now, where does he go from here is going to be interesting. Because you would think that his thing with Don Callis is over.
I wasn't under the
With this
impression
place.
that he was. But continue.
No, I'm saying you would think it would be over. So, honestly, I'm just happy to see Kenny back. At 80% Kenny is just something to rave about. And consider where he came from, it's the godsend.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with you. He didn't necessarily need the title, but, we're telling the story of Kenny and Konosuke. Obviously things are not over between the two of them, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see where it goes. Just all things considering, this show was very storyline driven. Like everybody had a reason to want to beat somebody up in this match. MGF almost set Hangman on fire. Swerve and Ricochet's been going at it since the year started.
Ricochet got there. Shit.
Yeah, Tony and Mariah have been wrestling for almost a year straight now. Kenny and Konosuke, Konosuke was his, I want to say Konosuke was his last rivalry before he left. So, there were issues that people could actually sink their teeth into rather than just scratch their head on and say, okay, why are these guys wrestling?
It is almost kind of like that for one night they got out of that dream match scenario shit.
Yeah.
If that's what you're trying to
100%. And then the next week on Dynamite, Orange Cassidy versus Hetachiro is the fucking main event.
Hey man, not all can be winners. Got old habits die hard.
So, well, we are 4 hours into this paid preview. If you count the pre-show, which was an hour, and we're 3 hours into the main show, that's 4 hours in total that I've been at this show. Now I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I'm kind of wanting to go home at this point.
Just
But I could it's not a bad thing to be feeling that way and only having one match to go, which I could understand. Okay, well we still have one more match to go. There's 2 more matches. And spoiler
30-minute long matches.
Exactly. This is where AEW jumps the shark. We don't need 5 hours of pro wrestling. I was ready to go home before Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher started. I could be okay enough to watch the match if that was the last match. But then they just kept going. Do you understand where I'm getting at with this?
Yes.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, it's kind of like you're at a buffet and you're like, yeah, I'm full. Let me go home. And they just throw another plate of lobsters, crab legs at you. And you're like, bitch.
Yeah, yeah. That brings us to the steel cage match. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Flatulence, 29 minutes.
No
If
time for a cage match.
first and bullets first and foremost, this should not have gone on second to last. This either should have opened the show or this should have ended the show. When we started this review, I said the card placement of these matches was drastically horrible. Nobody wanted what was to be the main event after this match happened. I dare say that they wouldn't have wanted it anyway, but that's a whole other conversation when we get there. If you wasn't going to do Will Ospreay and Fletcher the cage match, the first match out, then you needed to do this the main event. And you should have had Tony and Mariah start the show. It just the card placement just seemed very lopsided and out of place. Did you feel that way, or was it because I had maybe more of a perspective because I was there?
Well, the issue was they had a lot of story. The good news is they had a lot of story laden matches. Bad news is they put it all in one clip and shot it all out at one night. Because you can't sit here and tell me that half of those matches you could have spread it over the next 5 weeks.
5 weeks? I couldn't make the argument they could have spread it out for the next 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's where it kind of, because if this was like their Mania, yeah, you would get it, right?
Yeah.
But that's where it kind of loses you. It wasn't their Mania.
Well, I feel like first and foremost, I've never been a big fan of either of these guys. And if I wouldn't have seen this match in person, I probably would have hated it. Seeing it in person, I didn't.
Still,
I still didn't like it, but I could also appreciate that these guys, what they did in the match, being there live. But it's like I said, when they just kept going. Like, this match should have ended like 5 times, and they just kept going. They fell off the fucking cage, and it still went on for another 5 minutes. It wasn't a bad match for what it was, but considering like CM Punk and Seth Rollins had a cage match literally the next night, and they did not even a quarter of what these guys did and got a bigger reaction, it just tells you where things are in the whole grand scheme of things. And I dare say that their rivalry is just as hot and heated as what Ospreay and Kyle is doing. But how did you feel about the match?
I mean, that's a valid argument to make. But like I said, it was an empty the clip pay-per-view. It was like, you want storylines? We're going to give them to you till you can't get them no more. And with this one, 29 minutes for a cage match with no interference is like crazy work.
There was interference.
No, I'm just saying like that thoroughly decided the outcome of the match.
Okay.
like Roman coming out yanking Seth, that thoroughly changed the outcome of the match.
Okay, I understand what you mean.
Um, so to me, yeah, I mean, they emptied the clip on it, so this better been the blow off.
I mean, you would
That's
think.
all I could say. And so Don Callis's family is 0 for 2 tonight. I mean, I thought it would have been one or the other,
Right.
but Tony said, "Fuck that."
How many stars you give this one?
3.5. It was good, but then it just drew out. It just drew, that shit just drew out. It was like, okay.
The I was there bias is kicking in. 4 stars.
Mm. All right. Keep in mind, it's Will Ospreay now.
I know. Oh, we're talking about Dave Meltzer. Okay, so
Yes.
Will. Okay, so Will Ospreay is in the match. That immediately takes it up to 5. 6.5.
Stop. That's it.
But just 5?
Just 5. Just you knocked it on the head. Oh yeah, Will Ospreay did it. Yeah, it's probably a 5.
Oh, so it was a solid 5. Only 5.
Solid 5. Only 5. I guess he got. I mean, it wasn't at the Tokyo.
I thought for sure that this was going to be a 6.5.
I mean, it's not in the Tokyo Dome.
I guess, but I mean, Will Ospreay was in the match and it wasn't over 5. That's insane.
I mean,
All right,
maybe it was past Meltzer's curfew. I don't know.
that brings us to the AEW World Championship match. John Moxley defeated neo-Nazi Moxicillin defeated. Why the fuck are they calling him Cope? Edge. Christian cashed in his casino gauntlet, his Money in the Bank briefcase, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He entered the match. Moxley choked out Cage, won the match. Kaliko, have you ever been to a golf game?
I mean, a golf match? Yes.
You know when like the golfers hit the ball and then you have that polite like clap.
Golf clap?
Yeah,
Yes.
this was a
Called a
golf.
golf clap.
The people were so drained and tired, and I don't even think it was because of the steel cage match, but just about being there for 4.5 hours. We were golf clapping this match, and those golf claps were far and few. I mean, you could literally hear a nail hitting the floor. It was dead silent, and maybe it would have gotten a better response if it was lower on the card. But considering that Osprey and Kyle literally jumped the fucking shark while they were exploding the shark, and then swords of glass came out of the shark when it exploded, people were ready to go home after being there for 4.5 hours.
I
So,
mean, think about it. That show started on the West Coast at 3. Or
4.
what,
4
5?
o'clock.
4?
4 o'clock. The pre-show started at 4. So,
God bless you, man.
thank you. I really appreciate that. And then you just give us a singles one-on-one match, with no stipulation, and you expect us to actually be up for it. And these guys are like what in mid 40s at this point. Cope's probably in his 50s at this point.
Hope to this. Sure.
And this is the main event. And like they were wrestling like old men to begin with. It was,
All three of them, Metamucil,
yeah. It
the
was just
Metamucil Mafia was in effect.
it was just a bad fucking match to end the show. Like I didn't like Moxley won. I couldn't have give less of a fuck. I mean, when Christian came in, people popped. Like we were, like there was a generally, people were excited that something might actually change. But when Moxley got the belt and he won, like he didn't want to stay any longer. I heard that Swerve actually jumped on Moxley from the rafters. Yeah, I didn't see that in person. I left after the bell rang.
He's like, fuck this, we're out.
I was like, yeah, let's beat traffic. I'm done with this. I want to go home. I need to eat something. I'm not paying arena prices. But what say you, Kaliko? What are your thoughts?
It, I mean, I told you Christian was going to cash in. I just didn't think he was going to be all successful.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I mean, when he won it, he was the most, you would have for sure thought he would have cashed it in a more calculating way than this. Wouldn't you agree?
I would definitely agree. But
So that was the disappointing part to me.
yeah, I mean, this is basically their version of Money in the Bank, and the first person to actually win it doesn't actually do anything with it. It devalues this new system that they're trying to implement.
Unless they're just, yeah, because that's why I tell you when you introduce something new, you have to make it serious. The only way you can make things serious when you change something drastically or introduce something drastically new is for that thing to pay dividends right away.
Yeah,
Nia Jax, as much as you wanted to say about Nia Jax winning the King of the Ring needed to be validated more so than Nia Jax winning the title.
yeah, Tony didn't get that memo. I mean, you could.
I mean, did Moxley use his backstage "I'm the captain of the ship" acumen? I don't know. Or maybe he was the one that cashed in when he was the last person to cash in successfully at a Money in the Bank from WWE in that group. It was like, fuck y'all ain't doing that to me.
From what I hear, Moxley was never going to lose the championship at this show. The Dead Riders continue to ride. So, yeah.
What is the point of them riding? Where are they riding to? Obscurity?
Yeah, nobody knows. But yeah, you could make the argument if Edge didn't successfully cash in the first Money in the Bank, would anybody give a shit about Money in the Bank in 2025? So I get what you mean by that. One thing we didn't talk about was the girl from the Queen of the Ring movie. I don't know if you saw this. You've probably seen it. They interviewed her at the show, and she said, you all know who's gonna win, and she appreciates that. You let me know about that, some shit like that. When they just started interviewing randos from the crowd, I wasn't listening. So, like I said, I was there, but I really wasn't paying attention to what was going on, so I didn't hear that. Um,
Oh gosh.
I'm not joking, that either. Um, but what do you think? What are your thoughts on people saying that she exposed the business right before the main event?
I mean, if anybody really thought Cope was winning that title, you smoking.
Well, not that
And
she that he was gonna win, but that she said that wrestling is fake before the main event went on.
oh, what?
Yeah,
You mean she exposed the business that all these other wrestlers expose on Twitter every day? What? The audacity.
yeah. I felt like it wasn't that big of a deal either.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that deep.
And it wasn't like it was a WWE show. It was a fucking AEW show. They know that it's fake. They watch AEW.
I mean, this is coming from the crowd that yells it's not WWE, and they got the nerve. They'd be pissed when someone says it's a sport, damn it. No, just
How many stars you give this one, Kaliko?
I'm disappointed in the cash in. I 3.
Wow, you're really generous with this one, aren't you?
I mean, generous that they added Christian. Not so generous where they didn't let him cash in successfully. Because I thought he would have cashed in on Edge. And that's what I said. I was like, either he's cashing in on Edge after the match, and then Christian and Swerve, which gives Swerve a better shot to get his title back. Because to me, Swerve winning now, Sonata Slaughter, baby.
Yep. I gave it -2.
Damn.
Yeah.
And that's damn, choke my drink. God, wow. Jesus.
Bad wrestling.
Ooh.
Bad inconsistent storytelling. Um, bullshit ending, and the wrong person won. All the ingredients of a bad match.
Huh? You feel how you feel?
Yeah. And placement of the match was terrible as well. So, just a recipe for disaster. Alright, Uncle Dave gave this 3 1/4.
Damn, yeah, 3 1/4. What the?
Hmm.
You cheated. You
I,
cheated.
I did not cheat, I swear.
Fucking cheater.
I did not cheat, I swear.
Who can cheat?
I'm in tune with what Uncle Dave is feeling. I don't know if that's something to be happy about, but it is what's happening, I guess. Alright, show as a whole. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
I mean, does the main course take away all the sides that they gave you? That's the question you need to ask yourself. I give AEW credit, like I said, that they gave us storyline matches. It's just that they gave us the buffet of it all in one sitting. And by the time you got to Mox, you were just like, the one non-storyline match ended up being not the greatest match. I mean, granted, other than the Hurt Business and Mercedes, there was a couple. But the ones that were storyline driven hit. So, I mean, or rivalry, or they had a connection, those hit. So it's very perplexing, AEW, but thumbs in, like, that 3/4 area, because the ones that hit. It's just the ones that didn't.
So Orange Cassidy dumps up.
Yeah, the laziest, where it's not. How can I put it? Thumbs in the middle is 45 degrees, or no, it's flat. So no, it's like a 90. So I give it like a couple degrees up, where it's like not exactly all the way up 12 o'clock, but it's more like 9:45 to 10 o'clock. If I put it in clock terms.
Okay, I think you're making this a lot more complicated than it needed to be, Kaliko, but
Cater
okay.
than what it is. Yeah, sorry, the wine. But yeah, it's like in the middle where it's slightly raising, but it's not like all the way up. The flaccid thumbs up.
Okay. I give it an Orange Cassidy thumbs up, which is just, a lazy thumbs up.
We're there.
Yeah.
We
See how
exist.
simple that was?
Yeah. Don't drink wine while talking wrestling.
Okay. Alright, that will conclude our coverage of AEW Revolution and this show as a whole. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. This was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Tuesday as we interview Ty Williams, this Wednesday as we interview Goblin, and join us every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews. And follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
Well, you can find me at I'm Kaliko on the road to sobriety after trying to drop this damn thumb thing.
You're measuring your thumb as we speak. Going up, down, around.
Yeah, it's literally like the Pythagorean theorem with my math hint. Oh, look at that. Who else put wrestling with math? Come on. Good shit.
For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Swerve when I drive. Watch me swerve when I drive. I should have that up. Swerve. Shout out.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.